Well, for the first time ever, the University of Miami and Florida International meet on the football field. These two schools separated by maybe 10 or 11 miles geographically, but certainly the distance between the two football programs is quite longer, although FIU under Don Strock will try to close the gap. And what a fun atmosphere this is, Lamar Thomas. You've got players on the field that certainly have histories together, as do the fans in the stadium and coaches on each sideline.
Not only, you talk about the coaches, man. I'm looking across the sideline. I see big Leon Searcy, a teammate of mine. Hurley Brown's over there. A.C. Tellison is an associate athletic director. I mean, all kind of things are going on with Sneaky Pete Garcia going over there. It's becoming a family affair. Two schools combined at the hip.
A treasonous act as Pete Garcia decides to accept the position as athletic director at FIU, and a bittersweet departure for University of Miami supporters to see him go. Let's watch the football go off the foot of Chris Petullo, and it's Bruce Johnson back deep for Miami inside his 10, straight up the middle, across the 20. 30-yard line, still on his feet, and dives forward across the 40-yard line. Bruce Johnson, 33 yards on the return, and clearly his longest return of the season for Miami.
That's good for Miami to start off that way against this FIU team. And let them know that, hey, we're still a step above you right now.
The Miami offense onto the field under the direction of quarterback Kyle Wright. His numbers on the season thus far: 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and they will be looking to get the receivers, and I know that'll make you happy, Lamar, a little bit more involved in the offense tonight. And they start with 3 on the field, and FIU showing an aggressive front, but they back off the blitz. Right to pass on first down. Out of the backfield, it's Javaris James, and he's tripped up for a loss in the backfield. And for FIU, the strong safety out of Gainesville, Chris Smith. Let's check out the starting offensive line for the Hurricanes. And again, the second straight week, they've got all 5 starters healthy. In the backfield, you just saw Javaris James, the star true freshman, on first down. Bryant in at fullback for the second straight week. Olsen, a breakthrough performance against North Carolina. Loss of 1 on first down for Miami. They stay with 3 receivers in the game. And FIU bringing the blitz. Quick drop right, incomplete. Looking to his left side, and the true freshman, Sam Shields.
Well, I tell you, I'm watching these first 2 plays and what FIU is doing. They're putting everybody in the box, but before the ball is snapped, they're backing off. They're trying to confuse Kyle Wright right now. They say, hey, we don't want you to run the football. We want you to throw the football.
Antoine Barnes, a co-captain. There's the starting defensive line for his Golden Panthers. In the middle, a star linebacker, Kehanvis Bowie. And the secondary for FIU, 3rd and 11. And Kyle Wright will have to operate out of the shotgun. Time in the pocket to throw. Over the middle, incomplete. He overthrows his intended receiver, Greg Olsen. And how about this fired up FIU defense, which is ranked among the leaders in the nation in several statistical categories. In fact, 32nd in the nation in yards per game.
They rocked Olsen that time, going across the middle. I tell you what, I can remember playing against Florida A&M a couple years ago. When I was playing and ran across the middle and God popped me so hard. They want to try to set the tempo right now. FIU is coming out saying, hey, we're not afraid of you. We're going to try to hit you in the mouth just like they think they're going to get hit in the mouth.
Miami's punter, Brian Monroe, the left-footed punter, puts it towards the 24-yard line, and a fair catch is called for by Lionel Singleton, who we spoke about in our open. The punt goes for 36 yards. Monroe, who last week against North Carolina set a record for himself with a 74-yarder and able to move up the charts in the ACC, now averaging on the season about 45 yards.
Olsen is still a little woozy after taking that big shot across the middle.
A senior quarterback to lead this FIU offense, Josh Padrick, has struggled. You see his interception number at 8, only 3 touchdowns. This FIU team trying to show some resilience after that heartbreaking 7 overtime loss at North Texas last week. He goes to the pass, and it's complete to the right side. A couple of moves over there made by the receiver, Chester Williams. He's got 9 yards on first down.
Well, FIU is showing that they're not afraid. Right now they're being aggressive on the defensive front. They're showing blitz, backing up, and on the offensive front they come up and throw the football the first play.
Offensive line in the middle, number 55, Xavier Shannon. That last name certainly familiar, and we'll talk about his relationship to an important member of the Hurricane coaching staff. There's the backfield for the FIU Golden Panthers. They've got a running back by the name of Julian Reams, who makes his second straight start, spelling the injured tailback Ahmad Ned. FIU again looking to pass, but it's thrown a bit low. Once again, Chandler Williams, the intended receiver.
He was open, running across the middle, ran a little drag route. But that time, Miami's pressure. And last week, we saw something we hadn't seen in a long time. Miami getting pressure on the quarterback. Talk about that defense.
And let's take a look at that defense, Lamar. Calais Campbell has certainly emerged in recent weeks for Miami. The linebackers headed up by John Beeson on the weak side, and Brandon Merriweather making his second straight start at cornerback, shifting from the safety position. After the incompletion and penalty, it's a 2nd and 10. First running play for FIU. And Julian Reams trying to test this Hurricane defensive front. Picks up only 2 yards. And Lamar, this run defense for Miami the last few weeks has been stellar.
Well, they've come up big. You know, that was supposed to be their strength, and including their secondary. They had a couple breakdowns against teams like Louisville, but overall, I think what Randy Shannon wants to base his defense on is how that front four can continue to apply pressure. That makes the job a lot easier for that defense.
There's John Beeson, had the interception last week against Cam Sexton of North Carolina. Crowd getting into it in the Orange Bowl. Tight end in motion, right side. 3rd and 7. Josh Patrick scrambles right, releases, and it is towards the sideline. Whether or not the receiver was in bounds, and the catch is made. And what a beautiful reception it was, despite Miami's coverage in the secondary by Glenn Sharp. And it's number 11, Ashlyn Parker, showing tremendous focus and balance for a gain of 18.
Let the quarterback get out of the pocket, and actually right there, Sharp just lost coverage. You know, once that timing goes down, you know, he turns around and he just loses sight of the football. Great catch there.
Talk about true freshmen. Miami has Sam Shields, FIU's Ashlyn Parker, a true freshman out of Port St. Joe, Florida. Big gain has the football in Miami territory. A 1st and 10 at the 45, and a delayed handoff to the left side. And going to be a gain of more than 5 yards on the ground. A nice cutback for the sophomore Julian Reams.
Boy, this would be something for FIU to have this first possession and the drive right down after holding Miami on defense, then the drive right down Miami's throat. Now they're inside Miami's territory, looking to do some different things with the football, and they have it 2nd, and they're right where they want to be, 2nd and pretty short.
Julian Reams' numbers, the sophomore out of right here in Miami at Coral Reef High School. Against North Texas, a career high last week, 96 yards on the ground. Gain of 6 on 1st down. And Patrick again to pass, and he looks out of the backfield, kind of hurried that toss, incomplete. And Julian Reams was the intended receiver. And there is the stroker, Don Straught. And so many years of football experience under his belt. And he has been leading this FIU football program since its inception, and it has been Heartbreak Hotel for the FIU Golden Panthers. 0-6 their record this season, those 6 losses by a combined total of 14 points.
Well, in his defense, you got to, I mean, he's starting off a program. He's going to have his lumps. He's not going to start this thing off by being the University of Miami. You have to build the University of Miami.
3rd and 4, and Patrick has time. Incomplete. He had a man off the hands of the intended receiver. And over there is Samuel Smith, the senior tight end for Miami. Number 52, Tavares Gooden, providing the coverage.
Well, you know, as I'm looking at the game here, I'm looking at Pete Garcia in the booth across. Congratulations, Pete. The new athletic director over there at FIU. He's making the move, making the adjustment, huh? He's going to build that program up, I believe.
Takes over for Rick Mello, and a lot of promising years ahead under the watch of Pete Garcia. We'll talk about some of the developments to take place at FIU. Miami's going to watch the punt bounce towards the end zone. 39 yards for a touchback, and that is not what FIU's punter had in mind, Chris Cook. So Miami will take over on the 20-yard line, their second drive. No score from the Orange Bowl. ground on first down, gain of 2 or 3 yards for Javaris James. And there you see for FIU, Kehanvis Bowie, their middle linebacker. Also there, Reginald Jones, a sophomore defensive end out of Tallahassee. And again, these FIU Golden Panthers fired up. What an opportunity this is, and certainly it runs a little bit deeper for some of these FIU players, which coveted a scholarship from the University of Miami, and until the last minute they waited, but the scholarship never came.
Well, the scholarship was given to someone else.
That's right.
So, you know, these guys are just as good.
Blitz coming on second down. First man misses. Second man does not for FIU. A big loss on the play. Sack is made by James Black, the Golden Panther linebacker.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm looking over at the FIU sideline. They're pumped up over there. They send a blitz. It's in the corner. You see the corner come right here. Kyle does a good job of stepping up, but he steps right up into another blitzer who came on a delayed blitz. FIU right now is running a perfect game plan.
Antoine Barnes missed. James Black did not. The backup linebacker, his second sack of the season, and a big loss forces a 3rd and 15 for Miami. Again, FIU showing blitz, and here they come with whistles before the play. Call a delay of game against Miami offensively.
Boy, this is not good so far. This is not what you want to see from this Miami ball club playing against the FIU team. Last week against North Carolina, North Carolina was not a good team. I believe North Carolina is better than this football team. They're probably, and I would say this, I hate to say this, but you know, at some point you might overlook a team like FIU.
Miami's players promised that they would not overlook the Golden Panthers despite their 0-6 record. Miami on the ground on a 3rd down and long. Javaris James, and there could be a fumble, and there is a turnover. FIU will take over the football at the Miami 21 on the fumble by Javaris James. Marshall McDuffie cheers on the Golden Panthers. The free safety comes up with the loose football. We haven't seen many mistakes from Javaris James, but that could be a costly one for Miami.
Well, I tell you, he took a shot. He took a shot from number 30. I think it was Corey Fleming. Here it is right here. Good move here, running behind his blockers. And watch this. Right on the football. Here it is. He's running behind his blockers, doing a good job. There it is. Right on the football. That's a freshman mistake. At some point, you got to put 2 hands on the football.
FIU takes over after the turnover. On the ground is Reams running to his right, and he struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Both of these defenses showing some adrenaline here in the first quarter. Reams not much doing against this Hurricane run defense, which has been spectacular. Another look at Reams' numbers on the ground. Averaging 3.8. Miami, its run defense, Lamar, giving up on average per game only 63 yards, 8th best in college football heading into the day.
Well, I tell you what, FIU didn't want to mess around now. They want to wake up a sleeping giant. This Miami defense, they come to play.
A whistle on the field and our first timeout. It comes with 8:02 remaining, and Don Strock wants to talk it over with his offense as they want to capitalize on this opportunity early on. After the Javaris James fumble, FIU threatening no score in our first quarter. Plenty of action early on in the Orange Bowl. No score. FIU threatening after the Javaris James fumble. They have it 2nd and 10 at the Canes 21. Don Strock just called the timeout. They discussed the play calling with his senior quarterback out of Merritt Island, and there is number 16 directing his teammates Josh Patrick. One man in the backfield, 3 receivers in the game for the Panthers. Patrick drops back, rolls right, going to keep it across the 20 and the 15, close to the first down. It looked like he came up just short, but a big gain on the ground for Josh Patrick, who is not known as somebody to use his feet out of the pocket.
You know, how many times last week did I talk about the quarterbacks getting outside the pockets because Miami's defensive ends were losing contain. That time Baraka Atkins chased down the quarterback, lost contain, and he was able to get around the end.
I don't think that's the play Don Strock discussed on the sidelines, although he had a huge gap there on the right side of the line.
Well, you never know, because maybe they watched that film from all the previous weeks where Miami's defensive end have lost contain.
Well, Patrick came up short of the first down, and he keeps it. He's hit hard in the backfield, but a second effort might get him the necessary yardage. John Beeson had the hit, but Patrick stayed on his feet. I'll tell you what, if he wanted to avoid the hit on the second down run, he wasn't able to avoid it on third with the quarterback keeper.
Well, it's going to be time for a measurement, but I tell you this, right now FIU is fired up, man.
And right now FIU would not want to settle, I would think, for a field goal opportunity based on the lack of success throughout the season. Their place kicker, Dustin Rivest, out of Tallahassee, Florida, has missed 5 of his 9 attempts this year.
Well, anything that has to do with Tallahassee, of course they're going to miss field goals.
Lamar, how close is this? Well, that's reminiscent of the game against Houston, the 4th down and inches where Larry Coker went for it. This one might be even tighter.
Right now I'm looking across the field at Leon Searcy, a guy I played football with.
Why are you laughing, Lamar?
And I'm laughing at him because he's pumped up, and that's just the way he was in the huddle. He's telling his offensive lineman, we got to get this inch.
He was one of the best to come through this University of Miami program. Don Strock, if nothing else, this Golden Panther team tonight could subscribe to that nothing to lose mentality.
Definitely. You're 0-6.
A 26-point underdog.
And most people think you're going to be 0-7.
On 4th down, they've gone for it plenty this year. Actually, 6 of 14 4th down conversions. They pitch out left side. They test the Hurricane defense, and I think they failed the test. All depends on the spot of the football. Pitch out to the left side, and Julian Reams was the ball carrier.
I think they failed to get that first down. That's going to be close. No, I think they have it. But that was a gutsy call there to run a sweep on the 4th and inches.
Another measurement coming up. They spread out the field, and they kept it in the backfield. Well, the momentum hanging in the balance right now. And a generous spot, a fortuitous placing of the football, and they keep the drive alive.
That was close. I think that if Coach Strock had to do that over again, I don't think he'd run that play.
You get a look at Don Strock on the FIU sidelines. 15-35 his record for 5 years.
I mean, they strung this thing out to the utmost. I guess they figured Miami was going to pack down the inside and just try to run it outside, and they were able to pick it up.
Calais Campbell came with the tackle. They faked the pass, and another handoff to Reams close to the 5-yard line. Once again, Julian Reams, the starting tailback, takes over after the injury to Ahmad Ned. Ned sprained his right knee a few weeks ago.
How shocking, and I say how shocking would it be for FIU to go up, whether it's 3 points or 7 points, if you were sitting at home not watching this game on television right now and it came up on the ticker? How shocked would you be?
FIU has been dominant. There are the statistics to back it up here. In the first quarter, Patrick to the end zone, and it is nearly picked off by Brandon Merriweather, who had his arm locked by the FIU receiver Chandler Williams.
Very, very fortunate right there for FIU. That ball hit him right there in the chest. They tried to fade stop pattern. Got a little heat on him. and it hits him right in the hands. Good job there by the receiver from FIU breaking it up.
This play coming up, another big one for FIU. 3rd down and 5 yards. You see Merriweather, who made the switch from safety, now playing cornerback. Levon Ponder getting his 2nd straight start at the safety position. And for the 2nd time during this drive, Josh Patrick is going to have a timeout. I don't know if his coach wanted it. Don Strock not too pleased, but a big play coming up for this Golden Panther offense. Patrick's pass on 2nd down was nearly picked off. Here comes a 3rd and 5. The Panthers don't need the end zone. Inside the 1 for the 1st down. He's hit at the line. Pass is loose towards the end zone, and it's picked off by Miami in the end zone. An interception for the Hurricanes. Kenny Phillips, his 2nd in as many weeks.
Wow.
There is a flag on the field here.
Great way to stop a drive right there. Good job by Miami's defense to buckle down, get a hand on the football. FIU tried to throw a quick slant there, and actually the receiver was open.
Oh, there's 99 Kareem Brown, who had the hit on Patrick. Let's see the flag, what it's all about.
We have an interception on the play. The ball was intercepted by Miami. After the play, dead ball, personal foul, number 1 on the offense. 15 yards to be assessed from the 20-yard line. First down.
Turn of events. You're struggling. You're trying to get in the end zone. Sticks his hand up there, the linebacker.
I think it was Levon Ponder, actually, the safety,
on the blitz,
coming on the blitz.
And here's the personal foul right there.
Yeah, there's a late hit by Chandler Williams after the catch is made by Phillips.
Now that's just totally uncalled for.
Well, after the fumble by Javaris James, FIU went for it on 4th and inches. They came up with a 1st down. But on a 3rd and 5, an interception in the end zone by the Canes' strong safety, Kenny Phillips, who picked off. Actually, it was not Kenny Phillips, but Randy Phillips, who had the interception last week. But his namesake able to put Miami on the offense, and a pass play. Lance Leggett, the intended receiver, but it's overthrown.
I tell you right now, Kyle is definitely stretching his receivers out a little bit there. A little 3-piece rib action going on there.
Greg Olson on the first drive went upstairs for a catch, but it was overthrown.
That was a chicken wing. This is a 3-piece rib section right here. You were stretching your receivers out. You don't, as a receiver, you don't want that. You say, hey, come on, quarterback, you got to get it down a little bit.
Marshall McDuffie, the safety, was sniffing blood on that play. A 2nd down run for Javaris James. A couple of yards. Brings up another 3rd and long. Miami struggling on the offense so far. On their first 2 drives, they gained only 2 yards and fumbled the football. And a gain of 3 on this 3rd drive offensively in the first quarter.
Basically, they haven't done anything on offense. Actually, FIU's offense has outplayed Miami so far.
FIU's pass defense ranked 12th best in the nation, giving up only 154 yards per game. From the shotgun is Kyle. Here comes the blitz. Canes pick it up. Wright has time and has a man complete for a first down into FIU territory. It's Lance Leggett.
I like the fact that FIU is being very, very aggressive. They're trying to say, hey, you know what? We're going to make Cal Wright win this ball game. We're not going to let you run the football on us. We're going to try to intimidate your receivers downfield by hitting them, and they have come up and put some hits on some people, but good job there by Lance catching the football and getting it as much as he can and picking up a first down.
13-yard gain for Leggett. Tackle made by Robert Mitchell. Canes in FIU territory for the first time tonight. And again, Kyle looked to pass. Steps up, had nobody open, keeps it on the ground, and crosses the 45-yard line for a gain of close to 6 or 7 yards. Kyle Wright was successful running with the football. Last week had 5 carries for 23 yards. Hey fans, get back to the football basics every Friday night on CSS with live high school football. Pre-game coverage starts at 7 p.m. spotlighting high school football from top schools around the Southeast. Then stay tuned for the live CSS Game of the Week, followed by our post-game show with scores and updates from around the region. 2nd and 5, backs are in the I formation. Lead block by Bryant, and James uses it. Plunges straight ahead across the 35-yard line for another Hurricanes first down.
Well, I tell you what, I like Baby J in the fact that he's smart, because that time when he got through the hole, after he cleared that first set of linebackers, he had 2 hands on the football. That's showing that this kid is smart.
Averaging close to 7 yards per carry in his first season in the orange and green.
And you see right here, he's going through the hole now. Right there, he has 2 hands on the ball, knowing that FIU safety is showing the ability to come up and put a whammy on you now.
Marshall McDuffie, the free safety with the tackle. Movement along the line. Flag is down. Could be a free play for Miami. We'll see where the movement was. Run to the left side. Didn't net any yardage for James. So movement is called on the line.
All sides, defense, number 96. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Replay, first down.
5-yard penalty against FIU. Once again, Javaris James, a couple of 100-yard rushing games for Miami in recent weeks. 148 carrying the football against Houston, 111 last week against North Carolina, taking advantage of his first 2 starts. Take a look at FIU defensively. Number 96, Jarvis Pennerton, a sophomore out of Homestead and South Dade High School. First down at 5 now. Play action. Time for Wright to throw. Incomplete to Lance Leggett as he cut towards the middle of the field. Coverage provided by McDuffie.
Well, that time, Kyle steps back, does a good job of being patient. That time he looked over the whole field. That was a good job by Kyle. We'd like to see him throw the ball a little lower, but at the same thing, Lance should have maybe made this catch here. Yes, definitely. You got to make that catch. If it hits you in the hands, they always say, you know those quarterbacks, they always say if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch it. I don't agree with that, but, you know, that's what they say.
Lance dropped the pass against Carolina in the second quarter last week. Could have led to a first down or maybe a touchdown. Pitch out left, James showing speed. And to the 25-yard line, just short of a first down. Well, both quarterbacks struggling so far. We spoke about Josh Patrick. Had the ball intercepted as FIU was threatening on their last drive. Kyle Wright only 2 for 6 and 13 yards. That 13 yards, the pass play to Lance Leggett, who didn't help out his quarterback a couple plays ago. 3rd and 1 coming up from the FIU 25-yard line. Lance Leggett, the receiver to the right side. Miami on 3rd downs. 37%, something they'll want to work on. Javaris might have been cut short. Keeping the officials busy in this first quarter. And already Miami sends its place kicker, John Petty, on the field as they wait for the players to be on the field from the pile. Officials call a timeout for a measurement. Well, I don't know what Javaris James, the Hurricanes offensively, and the fans expected out of this FIU defense, but they have come up to play in the Orange Bowl tonight.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with this FIU defense, the safeties, the safety players. I mean, they're coming up banging people up here.
You see the disappointment on the face of Javaris James. Came up short, brings on John Petty. What a fine performance against North Carolina after his position was up for grabs. The snap in the hole, the kick is up, has plenty of distance, but no good. No score in the Orange Bowl. Less than 2 minutes to play in our first quarter between FIU and Miami.
This January the 2nd.
Hurricanes kicker John Petty missed his attempt from 46 yards. He is now 3 for 7 on the season. The senior kicker Petty was 2 for 2 against Carolina last week after missing his previous 3 attempts. And so FIU takes over on the offense. They send the fullback in motion to the left side. 1st and 10 from the Panthers 26. 3 defenders for Miami are there to meet the tight end on the first down pass play. The tight end, Lamar Samuel Smith, look at his numbers. He has been one of the primary targets for Josh Patrick on the season. 33 catches, second best on this FIU team. Both quarterbacks like to use their tight end position.
Well, when you can run option routes like that, and that's all that was a basic, simple little option route where he sat down, did a good job of sitting down in the zone between 2 defenders. That's a gimme play.
Gain of 5 to the tight end Smith. Backs on the eye. Canes come on the blitz. And they cut the tailback Green short for maybe a loss on the play. Calais Campbell and Phillips are there for the Canes. Well, inside a minute to play in our first quarter. No score. Both teams had opportunities. Josh Patrick threw an interception into the end zone, picked off by Phillips for Miami, and John Petty misses his field goal attempt.
You know, even though there's not a point on the board right now, but I tell you what, to FIU right now to go in 0-0, and then the first quarter, they're up 7-0.
FIU is going to have to burn another timeout. The play clock was down to 5, and the Golden Panthers have used FIU. All 3 of their timeouts here in the first quarter. Third down opportunity coming up for Florida International. They have burned all 3 of their timeouts here in the first quarter. 19 seconds to play in the period. Josh Padgett is under center, FIU's career passing leader, with 3 receivers, 2 to his right, lone man in the backfield. Out of the backfield, it's incomplete. Pass thrown short of the running back. Julian Reams did give him a chance to run with the football. And Padgett has struggled, now 3 for 9 with his passing in the first quarter.
Well, Miami showed a cover 2 defense, but ran off at the snap of the ball, leaving the little swing pass open. If he throws a little harder or a little higher, that play picks up maybe 8-9 yards. I think they probably would have still been short of a first down.
Chris Cook into punt, a true freshman out of Palm Bay, Florida, sent it into the end zone. His last opportunity. A high punt towards the near side of the field. Bruce Johnson will watch it bounce. Takes a favorable bounce back towards the 45-yard line. And the Hurricanes will have one more play here in the first quarter with 3 seconds left. A punt of only 29 yards for Cook.
I say go deep. Go deep.
Catch Sports Night weekdays at 6 and 11 for a fast break debate of the hottest sports stories in the Southeast and the biggest sports celebrity guests. Join the Sports Night crew weekdays at 6 and 11 only on CSS. Let's take a look at some trivia. Lamar, last freshman to rush for back-to-back 100-yard games prior to the accomplishment and feats from Javaris James.
Oh, I know that answer. I definitely know that answer.
So we will not get another playoff. It'll give you at home more time to ponder an answer there. No score in the Orange Bowl. The Hurricanes will take over on the offense. The Canes and the Golden Panthers in Miami. Back under the lights in the Orange Bowl. A very competitive first quarter of football. Florida International and Miami with no score. The Hurricanes on the offense with a fresh set of downs. A bipartisan crowd here. The Hurricanes have their contingency, and FIU has brought plenty of fans as well. Kyle Wright to throw on first down. Going to be a big loss. Sam Shields dragged straight to the turf. No opportunity to pick up the yards after the catch.
Right now, FIU is bringing it. They're trying to make this into a rivalry game here.
Matt Garris, 33, was right there to meet Shields.
Yeah, he threw a little quick screen out there. He was right there. It was almost like they knew that play was coming.
Hurricanes offense is going the wrong way.
In a hurry.
A 4-yard loss. They have the backs in the eye on this second down and 14. Kyle to pass. Over the middle, complete, and a first down as he looks back in the direction of Lance Leggett.
And that was what you call a nice bullet right here. Lance does a good job of corralling the football, just making sure on that 18-yard catch.
Tackle made out of the secondary of FIU by Lionel Singleton. The cornerback never had a chance. A quick cut, and that one, as you said, thrown on a line. So Miami inside FIU territory, and nice to see Kyle show some faith in his receiver after the earlier drop. Miami goes to the shotgun on first down with 3 receivers. And Tyrone Moss into the game. And the pocket crumbles around Kyle Wright. He had nobody open downfield. A sack and a loss of 6 on the play.
Well, on that play, watching the up top route, the freshman, Sam Shields, was running a curl. And what FIU did, they dropped right up under the coverage. Now you see Kyle looking right there. Does a good job of not forcing the pass. Hey, sometimes you got to take that sack. I would call that a coverage sack.
Keonda's Bowie, his 3rd sack of the season. He's also FIU's leading tackler, 62 heading into the game. He's a senior out of Pahokee. And there's Tyrone Moss back onto the field. He lost his footing at the 50, and another loss for Miami offensively.
Good to see Tyrone Moss back in there. We haven't seen him or called his name in a long time, except for saying he won't be playing today.
That's right.
Good to see that kid back in there after suffering that injury last year.
Well, he's felt soreness around that surgically repaired knee, but he did return to practice this past Tuesday and got some more treatment and some ideas on therapies. He was overusing the muscles around that knee. 3rd and 16. Another blitz for FIU. Kyle over the middle, complete and dropped, and an incompletion. The officials are there to make the call, as Khalil Jones was unable to hang on. Would have been a gain of maybe 5 yards if he did.
Well, I tell you what they're doing, FIU, and that smart defense. What they're doing, they're lining up as in a blitz situation to put 8-9 men in the box, and they're zone blitzing. And that time, Khalil has to be a little smarter than that, being a receiver, and your quarterback has to be smart to know that on the other side there is someone waiting on you.
And that other side featured Matt Garris with the hit. A high snap with no pressure. Monroe under duress gets it off. No fair catch is called, and at the 12-yard line, FIU's returner is brought down immediately after a punt of 36 yards. Monroe might have had more time than he thought. Lionel Singleton with the punt return for Florida International. No score in the Orange Bowl. A tough contest between these two crosstown neighbors. Scoreless in the Orange Bowl. Jim Morris and Danny Price, the baseball coaches for Miami and FIU respectively, and this one so far resembles an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. The defenses on both sides have been very tough tonight. Josh Padrick with a handoff to Reams, testing that Hurricane defensive front. Miami last week gave up against North Carolina only 58 yards on the ground. Baraka Atkins, McCray are there along the defensive line. Overall defensively, Miami giving up less than 15 points per game and 262 yards per game, 15th in the nation. Only 15 on the ground for Reams on 7 carries out of the FIU backfield, and perhaps this young man, Josh Padrick, will be forced to throw the football a little bit to open up this Kane defense. That's a split. And movement along the line. And that one was fairly obvious. Came on the left side of the line. Andy Levine.
Well, I tell you this. If this game was Miami against Florida State or Miami against USC, 0-0 be
prior to the snap.
You'll be happy.
Game.
But right now, this is FIU.
5 yards.
The only person that are happy right now about this game are the FIU players and the FIU fans.
Don
and those
Strzok
who hate Miami.
Has been keeping it close, and he's pretty familiar with this Orange Bowl stadium. As you see, was a quarterback through the 70s on into 1987. He was named FIU's first football coach on September 13th of 2000, building from the ground floor up. And this, so far tonight, has been maybe the highlight of the program. Patrick, incomplete, with on Ponder in the secondary, picks it off. Keeps his hands under the football. I don't know how he did it. And the second interception thrown by Patrick this evening.
They tried to throw a little option route to the tight end, and actually the ball might have got tipped, and Ponder does a good job of getting his hands up under the football and making an interception.
He can play defense. He can pass the football. We saw that last week. He's got some hands, too.
Yeah, he can do it all. Might need to put him back there to punt.
Sam Shields was the recipient of the Ponder pass play last week to surprise that North Carolina defense. So another takeaway for this Hurricane defense. Miami was unable to take advantage in the first quarter after the missed field goal attempt. A handoff straight up the middle. The run goes. Tyrone Moss once again in the game. Moss missed the last two for the Canes. Sat out the Carolina contest with the soreness in the knee, and against Houston actually suffering from a migraine headache. A gain of 2 for Tyrone Moss, and this is how the Hurricanes offense has fared so far.
Man, FIU's defense looks like the #1 team in the world right now. That's what you call shutting someone down.
Moss remains in the game. James Bryant, the fullback, on the left side, and Moss stays on his feet, showing strength, carrying a defender across the 20 and close to a Miami first down.
Now that's the Moss that we've grown accustomed to seeing before the knee injury. The power and speed. Here it is. Boom, 1 tackle missed. Oh, 2 tackles missed. He's just breaking tackles. He always keeps his legs churning. Those big tree chunks he has down there below his waist, you're not going to tackle him by the leg.
Chris Smith felt the wrath of Tyrone Moss before the tackle was made. They keep it with Moss on 3rd and short. Has plenty of room on the ground and carries it to the 14-yard line for a first down. And now, all of a sudden, Lamar, you have a couple of options in the backfield. Javaris James, who offers that quick first step and plenty of speed. And you got the boulder-like strength of Tyrone Moss with that 1-2 punch.
Well, see, the difference there between Tyrone Moss and Baby J is when Baby J gets through that line of scrimmage, them safeties are coming up to try to pound him. But when Moss comes through that line of scrimmage, those safeties are coming up to try to hit him as low as they can.
Backs are in the I formation. A 1st and 10 now from the 15-yard line. A cutback. And Tyrone struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Plenty of Golden Panthers all over the Hurricane backfield.
Well, see, that's not Tyrone. That's not to Tyrone Moss' strength right there. You want to run him straight up the middle. That's what he does. Don't make him go east and west. Make him go north and south.
Chris Smith made the tackle. Moss to the sideline. Gets a breather. Following Tyrone to the sideline is Chris Zellner, who also makes his return tonight after missing the last few weeks with a right ankle sprain. And Kyle Wright is going to call for a timeout. A 2nd and 10 coming up for the Hurricane offense, threatening with 8:05 remaining in our second quarter. Josh Patrick, 2 interceptions thrown. The senior has put his defense against the wall in the second quarter.
Drawing among fans who registered for the UGAS promotion is also known as two lucky winners will receive a $50 gas card. Tonight's winners are Scott Speed, Award,
Kyle Wright, after the timeout, back on the field for a 2nd and 10. This offense tonight averaging less than 3 yards a play. There you see the time remaining in our first half. Kyle's in the shotgun. Javaris James back into the game, looking to pass, and it's incomplete. Had 2 men running in the same direction. One across the 10, and the intended receiver closer to the 1-yard line was Lance Leggett.
Well, I don't know if he threw that too high for Khalil or too low for Lance. It's the one, what you call a tweener.
The team's finding it awfully difficult to manufacture much on the offense, and that's not all that unexpected. Once again, this FIU defense ranked 12th in the nation in terms of passing yards per game and 32nd in the nation in total yards allowed. This Hurricane defense 15th in the nation in total yards allowed per game. 3rd and 10, and Kyle looking left, complete at the 6-yard line is Sam Shields, the true freshman. He needed the 4.5, and we'll see where the officials spot the ball and decide where Shields stepped out of bounds.
He's running quick out here. Good job of coming back downhill by the freshman. Catch the football. Hey, in this situation, we might as well go for it. The field goal kicker's already shown the inability to make field goals.
You know, these teams are looking more similar as the night develops. Both struggling with their kicking units, both deciding to go for it on 4th and inches, and each defense spectacular to this point. Larry Coker padding that win total with 2 victories in the last 2 weeks. Extra tight end in the game. It's Chris Zellner, backs her in the eye. Handoff, Javaris hit hard in the backfield, and I think he came up short. He was hit awfully hard, a violent strike against the true freshman. And we'll wait for a spot again.
I don't think we have to wait too long for this. This is definitely a good play. Here it is. FIU had 3 chances to make that tackle in the backfield.
Tackle made by Antoine Barnes, a senior defensive end out of Norland High School.
And we talk about guys that have played against each other, played on the same teams as each other. They have something to prove, you know. These kids, I don't know why, didn't get into Miami. Maybe they weren't good enough to work. Maybe Miami coaches picked other players, but that can have some long-term effects. You know, you have a chip on your shoulder.
3 turnovers in this game, 2 interceptions thrown by Josh Patrick, the fumble by James, and no points to show for it on either side. Fresh set of downs after Miami came up short. Running to the left side between guard and tackle is Julian Reams. There's not a lot of breathing room for either side.
Not a lot of breathing room. Both defenses are really playing well.
51, Romeo Davis, a middle linebacker, the junior out of Miami's Northwestern High School. Earlier in the broadcast, we offered some trivia your way. The last Canes freshman to run for 100 yards in back-to-back games. Javaris James did it against Houston and North Carolina. Again, they keep it on the ground. FIU's Julian Reams, gain of 2 or 3 yards.
Like I said, both of these defenses are really playing well, and they're hitting. They're, you know, FIU, say what you want about this program being 0-6. I'm sure they put some lumps on a lot of people that have played against them. This defense has really come out and played well tonight. And Miami's defense, what can you say? Their backs were against the wall. Set down FIU. Score still 0-0.
A good look at the Hurricanes middle linebacker Romeo Davis. Patrick rolling to his right, pass complete, but short of the first down, I believe, for the Hurricanes. Over there to make the tackle was Tavares Gooden against the tight end for FIU, the backup tight end Andy Anderson, and he did get a first down. So the dive ahead is good enough for this Golden Panther offense, and one of the few positive pass plays for the Golden Panthers so far. Delta is the official airline of the Miami Hurricanes, who have been home here the last 3 weeks. So head out to Durham, North Carolina, take on the Duke Blue Devils next week, a return to ACC action. You see why Patrick likes to use his tight ends. And again, he does so in a hard hit by John Beeson at the 20-yard line, greeting the senior Samuel Smith.
Well, all they're doing, and I've said this many times before, it's such an easier throw to throw to your tight end, especially have a nice one out there who knows to sit down in the zone and to keep running it man-to-man. And on that play, they ran a little route where he sat down, picked up 3-4 yards. That's an easy throw. Good job there by Miami's defense, though. John
Beeson, the starting weak side linebacker. Second on this Canes team, 23 tackles heading in. 2nd down and 7. Delayed handoff. And Julian Reams almost reamed his quarterback, Josh Patrick. And he ran right into a brick wall.
Well, that brick wall is called a Miami defense, and that was a good job there making the tackle by Tavares Gooden. I thought that was Ray Lewis out there the way he made that tackle.
For the front 7 for the Hurricanes. Again, the last 3 weeks has been nothing short of sensational, going up against an FIU offensive line which starts 2 true freshmen and 1 sophomore. Hurricanes show blitz. They bring the heat. Pass off, incomplete. A slant pattern against the blitz, and Chandler Williams could not hold on. Brandon Merriweather gets some pats on the helmet from his Hurricane teammates.
Brandon Merriweather, I mean, this kid moved from safety to corner to help out this struggling secondary that coming into the season we all thought was going to be the strength of the Miami Hurricanes. Had some problems against Louisville, especially at the corner position. I never said that the problem was with the safeties. Their problem has been their corners, and he makes a switch and has done a good job so far.
Chris Cook to punt for FIU. A high punt, but again a short punt. It's going to bounce inside the 50. And another Hurricane bounce. Chris Cook, a true freshman, number 41, puts his defense in poor field position. Once again, Miami will try to take advantage behind the right arm of Kyle Wright. No score, 4:04 to play in our first half. It's a family affair in the Orange Bowl. No score, a family affair. Many friends and neighbors also in the stands, and some football players who grew up as teammates and going up against each other here in South Florida. First installment of this intra-city showdown between the Canes and the Golden Panthers. They will meet again next year, and I'm sure both athletic directors, Paul D. and Mr. Garcia, who changes allegiances from UM to FIU, will try to sign another contract to get these schools back on the field again.
Oh, they're definitely going to, especially after such a good showing here. I mean, actually, FIU gets $150,000 for playing this game.
Mentioned Jim Morris, the Hurricanes baseball coach. He's gone up against Florida International throughout his tenure in Coral Gables, and this has been a defensive pitcher's duel. Kyle Wright to pass out of the backfield. It's complete. James Bryant along the sideline, still on his feet, loses his helmet and shows some major emotion. The Hurricanes fullback, who converted from linebacker, is one of the more fiery players to wear the U on his helmet.
And he says there to his teammates, let's go. Through. Good throw there by Kyle. He just runs him over and kind of steps on his head there. Oh.
He didn't know what to do with that extra adrenaline, so he decided to throw a spiral in the direction of the man in stripes. James Bryant, a junior out of Reading, Pennsylvania.
Watch the truck right there. Steps on the kid.
Singleton felt the brunt. Bryant with the big touchdown in the third quarter against Houston a couple weeks ago. The Canes keep it on the ground, and now looks like they've got some of that adrenaline running through the entire offense and Javaris James.
Now, let me tell you something. You saw James Bryant on the last play. If we could get a shot at what he just did to a blitzing linebacker, it was even better than the run over he had on the last play. He hit this kid coming straight through the hole and stepped in his chest and led Baby J through the hole. You'll see right here. Here he is on the lead block. Now, here's the catch. But on the last play, he just stepped in the chest of a linebacker.
Lionel Singleton and then Marshall McDuffie both feeling the impact of James Bryant, who started the season as a linebacker and knows a few things about hard hits. James wrapped up in the backfield for a loss. It's the linebacker Antoine Barnes.
And Antoine Barnes has made some big plays on that 4th and 1. He got through there again. Every time Miami tries to run that counter play, he's not buying it. He's just coming off the corner and trying to make the tackle.
The senior came into the game ranked 4th on the team in tackles.
And here's that play before. Look at, there it is right there. James Bryant puts his foot in a FIU defender. Now that's the type of thing they need out there right now to maybe pump this team up. They need a spark, and he's provided it so far.
Another third down play for Miami. And again, the Golden Panthers show blitz. Toss towards the end zone. Lance Leggett, touchdown Miami.
Now, did that not remind you of old school Miami football right there? That's the way it's supposed to be done.
How about the play call against the blitz?
Hey, the fade has been there all year long. Why not throw it? This kid is 6'4", 6'5", can run like the wind. Throw it up. Give him God a chance to make a play.
That is the first touchdown thrown to a receiver by Kyle Wright this season. And John Petty with the point after. And the Hurricanes lead FIU 7-0 on a drive that went 5 plays and 39 yards. Culminated with this to Lance Leggett.
And he beats him off the ball. That's what he did. He beat him off the line of scrimmage. And he's so tall, just throw it up. Let this kid make the play. Good job by Lance going up and getting the football, using his body, actually, to shield the defender from the football.
The defender is the cornerback Robert Mitchell. Mitchell stands 5'11", Lance Leggett at 6 feet and 4 inches. His first touchdown of the season. The junior out of Bartow. And the Miami scoring drive once again on your screen.
It says he's 6'4", but he's like me. He's so skinny that he looks about 7 foot tall out there.
6'4", 188, Lamar-esque for the Hurricanes. With 1:45, the Canes leading 7-0. Brian Monroe will kick it off for Miami. And back deep for FIU to return the football will be Chandler Williams and Lionel Singleton. I tell you, the atmosphere, it's been a fun atmosphere, as we said, and early on you can just hear the crowd on both sides really into this game.
A pretty good crowd here tonight.
Monroe's kickoff deep into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Singleton could not handle, but for FIU, number 8, Dante Owens, puts the knee down. So a 1st and 10 as you get a good look. The Hurricanes wide receiver Lance Leggett had a drop last week, a drop early on, but has come back and has looked very strong in the passing game. And again, the first touchdown thrown to a receiver by Kyle Wright all season in the 2nd quarter of game number 6 it comes.
And you know, we've talked about this many times, Lance and I. It's not about, it's about how you recover from a drop. You know, the mental mindset of a wide receiver. You're going to drop some passes. It's just like playing defensive back. You're going to get beat at times, but you have to be able to come back and make big plays. And he did a good job there getting that touchdown.
Once again, the Golden Panthers hand it off. Reams with a short gain on the play. And Don Strock might opt to play it safe after the earlier turnovers in this first half. He's got no timeouts left as we approach a minute to play in our first half. And Don Strock with a patient approach on the sideline. I've got to think that it's kind of a glass half empty, half full feeling for Don Strock. A 17-year NFL career, much of it spent with the Dolphins. His team had opportunities, Lamar, to score early and take a lead, yet if you were to say 7-0 at the half prior to the kickoff, he'd probably accept it very happily. Oh
yeah, he definitely would take that. And they're you know, I like the fact that they're not resting on their laurels. That was a good run by FIU. They're trying to see if they can maybe try to go down and score without being sloppy.
If you're Miami on defense, you want to try to keep the ball carrier in bounds as well.
I tell you what, if they had on defense right now, James Bryant, he's done his job tonight. Those 2 plays back to back really pumped that offense up and gave him life again.
The catch and the block for Bryant, the fullback, helping to set up the touchdown to Lance Leggett. First down run for Julian Reams. You saw his 33 yards, and they are well earned in the first half. He's tripped up in the backfield by Calais Campbell.
I think Calais Campbell will be one of the great defensive ends to play here. This guy has really made strides. A young kid, makes a lot of plays, big in range. It kind of reminds me of some of the great defensive ends that have played here. You know, I played with a guy, Bill Hawkins, back in the days.
You see the sacks. They came in the last 2 weeks against Carolina and Houston. Also forced a fumble against the Tar Heels, and he helped send this Hurricane team into the locker room after half. The fans and you viewers getting all you bargained for and much, much more in a hard-fought battle in the Orange Bowl between crosstown neighbors, the Hurricanes of Miami, and the FIU Golden Panthers. A Lance Leggett touchdown as the Hurricanes ahead at the break 7-0. These teams have given the fans everything they bargained for. Both defenses have been outstanding tonight.
When you talk about outstanding, these defenses are playing out of their minds, both defenses, especially FIU. I got to give them credit. They're coming up really pounding people in the secondary.
Well, they have a lot to prove, no doubt about it, and Don Strock's team came out fired up as we see the highlights. One of the few completions for Josh Patrick, Ashlyn Parker keeping his feet in bounds, and Javaris James for the Hurricanes, one of the 3 turnovers in the first half tonight.
And I talked about the pounding, what was going on. There it is. FIU's defense was playing well. Here's another play where they did some things in the first half that Miami wasn't prepared for, especially in the blitz in front.
This was a crucial turnover. FIU was threatening. Kenny Phillips picks it off in the end zone.
He picks it off, and they get a personal foul. They stop a big threat there by FIU, but here it is again. FIU's defense confusing the Miami offense.
Josh Patrick, the FIU quarterback, was picked off twice. This pass was tipped at the line. Levon Ponder able to keep his hands under it.
Now, this is the play I think to turn the game right here. James Bryant showing a lot of heart. running over some FIU defenders, throwing the ball at the official, and then on the next play, pounding the linebacker that sets up this touchdown pass here to Lance Leggett for the first touchdown by a receiver all year long by the Miami Hurricanes.
That was the only scoring in the first half. As you see, the numbers pretty even, and the defense is the story so far.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty even because both defenses, like I said, they're both playing out of their minds right now.
Well, maybe not what all the fans expected, but Don Strock and these FIU players with a lot to prove, and we expect an exciting second half of football coming up. Stay tuned. The second half between the Golden Panthers and the Hurricanes coming up on CSS. These two schools in Miami close in distance geographically, and they are indeed close on the scoreboard as well as we get set for our second half of action. Jason Solotkin and Lamar Thomas. Miami leading 7-0 on a touchdown scored by Lance Leggett in the second quarter. The Canes will kick it off with Brian Monroe, and sent back deep for the Golden Panthers are Chandler Williams and Lionel Singleton. Monroe with a low line drive punt that bounces straight out of the end zone for a touchback. And for Brian Monroe, his 7th touchback on the season. Again, it has been a defensively dominated game of football here so far in the first half. A total of 190 yards, 3 turnovers, and you shouldn't be all that surprised when you consider the Canes ranked 15th in the nation in total yards allowed, and FIU comes in not far behind at 32nd.
Well, you know, what I'm thinking is at halftime, what is Strockner telling his kids? He's telling them, hey, you're playing good against a pretty good ball team. This is our opportunity to make history right here.
Josh Patrick is the Golden Panthers quarterback in a running play which goes backwards, and the Hurricanes are there defensively with Taraz McCray, the first of many against Reeves.
Well, you can't run against this defense, not tonight. That front 7 actually for Miami is playing very well. They're making the FIU running backs bounce around, not being able to decide on what hole to pick.
Well, Taraz McCray had those 2 sacks, the first of the season for him, starting at right defensive tackle last week against Carolina, and he has cemented himself in that position after some early changes along the depth chart. The pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage, and poor Josh Patrick suffocating this Hurricane defense, not giving them anything on the ground or through the air either. The front 7s on both sides have continued the pace here early in the third.
Well, the Miami defense woke up. That's what it's all about, waking up.
Cat Sports Night weekdays at 6 and 11 for a fast break debate of the hottest sports stories in the Southeast and the biggest sports celebrity guests. Join the Sports Night crew weekdays at 6 and 11 only on CSS, your source for Southeast sports. 3rd down and 11. Patrick under pressure, escapes, and incomplete with a flag in the Hurricanes secondary in the direction of safety Kenny Phillips.
That could be either a push off by the wide receiver because he was able to separate there, or it could be a holding penalty downfield.
Well, Glenn Sharp protests to no avail. It's going to be against Miami on 3rd down. That's going to move the chains.
Number 4 of the defense. That'll be a spot foul, automatic 1st down.
And I got to tell you, that's a bad call because I watched Sharp on that play. All he was doing was jamming his receiver out of bounds, and they called him on the pass interference. There's a kid that's had some bad calls against him over his career.
I would say so. This pales in comparison to the pass interference thrown against Sharp in the National Championship game a few years back against Ohio State, 2003 Fiesta Bowl. So a 1st down after the pass interference. FIU sends the tight end in motion. A quick release. Pass is complete across the 40, across the 45-yard line. Andy Anderson, one of the 2 tight ends in that formation for a gain of 15.
Wow, he was wide open. I mean, they ran that play earlier in the game, and they missed the tight end. But this time, they fake it to the left. He just a semi-bootleg and hits his tight end on the money. They lost. they lost him on that play, that being the Miami defense.
Romeo Davis there for the tackle, but not before a big gain. So a penalty and a completion to the backup tight end has the football at the 47-yard line. Patrick delayed handoff, running left and forcing his way back to the line of scrimmage. Julian Reams, the sophomore tailback, against spelling the injured Ahmad Ned. Look at the jawing on the field. And so many of these guys grew up not far from each other, teammates and opponents through high school.
When the ball came out, I saw the referees throw a little beanie out there. Ball did come out there.
Well, if only the Hurricane coaching staff had the benefit of that replay. One man in the backfield. FIU gets a break, passes off, and it's incomplete.
Well, you know, I'm noticing something about this FIU offense. They love throwing the football to their tight ends, and what they're doing, they're making Miami stay at base defense and bringing in more linebackers because Miami's thinking, okay, well, we have to bring in linebackers if we're bringing in tight ends.
That's the third string tight end, Moses Hinton. Third on the depth chart behind Smith and Anderson.
And all they're doing is running option routes.
But we just saw a third down, which led to the pass interference. Only 25% on FIU's conversion. Patrick has a man. It's complete, but not nearly enough for a first down. Brandon Merriweather is there immediately to bring down Chandler Williams. And how about the versatility of Merriweather? He has clearly shown he can excel now both at the safety and the cornerback positions as he looks to move on to the next level.
Well, he's getting himself ready for the play on Sunday somewhere. This kid is very versatile. To be able to go back and forth, kind of reminds me of Ed Reed. He could have played corner if he wanted to.
Merriweather, a star senior for the Hurricanes, a Jim Thorpe Award candidate. Cook struggled in the first half. This one is blocked by McCarthy, and the Hurricanes will take over at the 40-yard line of Florida International. He has starred on special teams. He is a big favorite of his teammates. That's number 44, Colin McCarthy, the special team standout.
How about Colin McCarthy? I met this kid last summer. He told me he was going to the University of Miami. I told him, what are you going to do down there? He said, I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do. Out of Clearwater. I think Clearwater Central Catholic. You know, you think, I'm thinking, man, they recruited a kid from Clearwater Central Catholic. Is this kid any good?
Chris Cook has it blocked. Colin McCarthy, a freshman. I guess Clearwater is not one of your favorite high schools, Lamar?
They're all right.
Kyle has a man, Shields, complete on first down, and he's dragged down. Shields is. Tackle made by number 17, Robert Mitchell.
Well, I mean, for them to find this kid at Clearwater Central Catholic says a lot about how good this kid was in high school, because, you know, that's a 1A program or 2A program, a little school, but he obviously was good enough for them to go search him out.
He must have that infectious kind of personality that rubs off on teammates. He is always immediately surrounded on any good play by his teammates. You talk about the mindset he brought into the program, you can understand why. 3-yard gain to Shields, 2nd and 7. Wide open as Lance Leggett cuts across the 30 and to the 24-yard line. That'll move the chains for Miami.
Now you see what that fade did? Now they're backed off of Lance. They're a little afraid of Lance now. Kyle catches the football, throws it in stride. Lance does a good job of picking up 3, 4, maybe 5 extra yards.
Leggett is the Hurricanes' leading receiver. Came into the game with more than 200 yards and padding those stats with his performance to this point. And the touchdown back in the second quarter. Canes now operating out of the shotgun on first down. Well, the running game was unsuccessful in the first half, so some adjustments are made. And Kyle will have to show his mobility. He buys time, looking for a man, and he'll throw it out of bounds. He never could get Sam Shields untracked in the secondary.
Well, Sam decided to turn the block a little too soon.
And, you know, you talk about the loss of Ryan Moore, suspended as the senior, and Darnell Jenkins lost with the injury against Louisville. He's gone for the season. A lot has been placed on the young shoulders Outside of Lance Leggett, you've got, of course, Sam Shields, Ryan Hill, Khalil Jones, a sophomore, and they are prone, as you might expect, to make some mistakes.
Well, you know, you have to, if these kids are going to be in there as true freshmen, you're going to take your lumps and bruises with them.
We've spoken about all the true freshmen contributing. Jason Fox has made very few mental mistakes as the Hurricanes starting right tackle. There's another one. Javaris, in his first year, drags defenders out of bounds, and might be a late hit right along the Hurricanes bench. Both sides are clapping, though I don't see what Javaris could have done.
Well, I think on that play, Chris Smith got a little feisty there and slung Baby J into the sideline. We'll see what they call.
There has been a buzz around the FIU campus leading into this game, and a face mask against the FIU defense. Take a look at Javaris James.
He's trying to get to the outside, and here it is right here. Yeah, that could be called a face mask. It's out of Gainesville. Went to Gainesville High School, same high school as Clinton Portis.
You can just imagine what was going through the face of Gator.
Number 26,
faithful watching Clinton Portis
5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Those yards escaping.
Replay, second down.
To come to Miami.
There have been a couple of us. Myself, Larry Jones, who's the Orange Bowl MVP, Clinton Portis. A couple kids come out of Gainesville. I mean, we're doing all right.
Talk about Portis, believe it or not, and, certainly something that the Hurricanes' Tyrone Moss, coming back from major knee surgery, can look at. Frank Gore, among all those current Hurricane running backs in the NFL. Portis, Edgerrin James, McGahee. It's Frank Gore, second-year running back at San Francisco, doing the most damage this year.
A slim down Frank Gore.
Right to pass. Overthrown towards the end zone, intended for Khalil Jones, and a late hit, and another flag is down right where Kyle got off the turf.
Well, Kyle got hit in the mouth after the play. It's personal foul, roughing the passer.
It's got to be controlled emotion for Florida International. We spoke about how much passion they brought into this football game, but they got to use it the right way.
Number 7 of the defense.
I tell you go back to that play with Khalil.
Automatic first
Khalil,
down.
and I'm guarantee you, his feet went numb as he saw that ball coming to him. He would have had a chance for his first collegiate touchdown. His eyes probably were as big as flying saucers out there, and he lost his footing there on that pass.
5 penalties against Don Strock's team. You know, it's difficult enough going up against the Hurricanes, talent-wise, when you're FIU. The penalties don't help the case, and there's another penalty as Javaris James gets the handoff.
James, penalty ball goes down.
The referee heavily involved here in the third quarter. FIU is going to be backed up a little bit closer to its own goal line. FIU an 0-6 record, but 5 of their 6 losses by a total of 14 points.
Offside, number 42 with the defense, lining up in the neutral zone. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Replay, first down.
Penalty against the defensive end, Antoine Barnes, simply lined up in the neutral zone.
Correction,
so
the penalty will be half the distance. Remains first down.
It'll be a first down. The Canes with the football now at the 5-yard line as they move it closer to the goal line.
And Barnes has been in that backfield all first half, and that might be one of the reasons why he's been offsides, encroachment.
Barnes is quoting the papers this week, we have nothing to lose, and they have everything to lose. And that was the attitude this FIU defense brought with them to the Orange Bowl. Javaris James hit hard right at that line of scrimmage, and a couple of Hurricane players get tangled up. Well, this has been one of the more physical games we've seen this season. It reminds me of the opener against Florida State.
Well, of course it's physical because, like you said, you got a lot of Miami kids over there a little upset about not being at the U. A lot of these kids grew up watching the University of Miami, thinking that one day they had an opportunity to be here, and you know, unfortunately for them, maybe they weren't good enough, or the coaching staff might have thought that there was a better player, and they weren't able to come here. Now they're at FIU trying to make a stand for themselves.
Talk about some assistant coaches for FIU with history here at Miami. First-year linebackers coach Vernon Hargraves. Clint Hurt got his coaching start with FIU. Former Hurricane defensive lineman. Out of the backfield, James Bryant into the end zone for a touchdown.
He was so wide open in the beginning. I thought Kyle was going to miss him. Good job there. I call this kid right now the fire starter because he has really started this thing off. And unfortunately for him, they called him on a penalty for bowing. And now we got a little shoving going on. A little frustration. That could be expected.
Well, a lot of frustration. And FIU on defense trying to calm each other down. See a couple of defensive linemen, Reginald Jones and Roland Clark, very heated. We'll talk about the fiery competitor that James Bryant is. We saw him in the second quarter with a big catch and run down the sideline and a great block as well.
After the play, dead ball.
This is his second touchdown of the season.
45
and off this scoring drive, which won 5 plays and 40 yards. And it all started with the block punt by Colin McCarthy. FIU special teams has haunted them all year. 116th nationally in net punting.
The unsportsmanlike 15 yards will be assessed on the kickoff.
You know, with all this pushing and shoving, I tell you, if this would have been back in the days, we'd have told these guys, hey, meet us at Tamiami Park and let's get it on with our pads. Okay? We would have just gone and played these guys. We didn't need no fans out there. We'd have been beating them down. But this is a whole different era. Whole different team.
You know, you could choose stadiums. You can go to FIU's campus, or you could just stay in the Orange Bowl. It's not like a team that was flying out of town back in your days, Lamar. John Petty's extra point is up and good, and another melee on the field. This one is getting out of hand. Flags all over the place, and this is ugly. Very ugly. The word flag on your screen is as insignificant as any you would see graphic-wise. Horrible violence all over the field, and it's hard to point in any particular direction. Now the Metro-Dade police trying to restore order.
Now that's what I'm talking about. You come into our house, you should get your behind kicked. You don't come in the OB playing that stuff. You're across the ocean over there. You're across the city. You can't come over to our place talking noise like that. You get your butt beat. I was about to go down the elevator and get in that thing. Unsportsmanlike conduct on 25, 38, 95, 11, 12, 1, 9.
I guess in this case you can only go back to see where it started. And I saw, for FIU, you hate to point fingers, but Lionel Singleton on the point after was one of the culprits, one of the many. And the coaches And Larry Coker in a huddle on the Hurricane sideline. There you see Don Strock. They have got to do everything in their power to restore order. And the officials have the toughest task of all. I don't know how you assess any penalties here.
You know, I say why don't they just meet outside in the tunnel after the ball game and get it on some more. You don't come into the OB, baby. We've had it down a couple years, but you don't come in here talking smack. Not in our house.
Well, the scene on the sidelines. Look at that. I'll tell you what, FIU came into the Orange Bowl with as much adrenaline as any team you could ever anticipate. Miami might have taken the first step back, Lamar, but they were there to meet the challenge moments ago.
You know what we'd be saying right now? We ready, we ready, we ready. And that's what I'm talking about. You want to come in here talking smack. Again, you want to come in here talking smack. It's time to get it on. We've let you play in our stadium and play well. I got to give that FIU. They play well so far, but you crossed the line at some point.
Well, at 8:45 on a Saturday night in the Orange Bowl, October the 14th, 2006, a rivalry, South Florida,
yes,
a rivalry is born. I don't know if you need the ref or the chief of police.
initiative.
Well, a lengthy delay here in the Orange Bowl of nearly 15-20 minutes as they try to restore order and the officials huddle up and going to have to consult their rosters. Players on both sides sent back to the locker room after a melee on the field.
After the play, we have numerous unsportsmanlike and personal fouls on each team. Those penalties will offset. There are also multiple ejections on each team that will offset. After the play, correction, on the touchdown, we had a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, number 45 of the offense. 15 yards will be assessed on the kickoff.
Well, for the Hurricanes on the point after James Bryant, you hear the suspensions, so we'll take a break. 14-0 is Miami's lead. Well, there are times where sports stories become news stories. For the most part, you like to think it's because of something positive on a field, but certainly not the case here in the Orange Bowl tonight. Order has been restored, and the blood is boiling, not only on the field and on the sidelines, but in the stands of the Orange Bowl as well. Once upon a time, James Bryant scored a touchdown, and John Petty put in a point after. The Hurricanes lead it 14-0 on the kickoff. From the 5-yard line for FIU, breaks it to the right side, and a hard hit by Miami on the special teams. It's made by Willie Cooper. And there's James Bryant, who was called for a penalty. It was his touchdown. The penalty came on the point after, but what a hit on the kickoff return for the Hurricanes on special teams, Willie Cooper.
It's hype now. It's going on. And, you know, of course, the referees are going to take advantage and take control of this ball game right now.
They're going to try.
Any little thing they're going to call.
Jerry Magellanis, the referee, in an unenviable position tonight.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, number 15 of the kicking team. 15 yards, first down.
It's actually
the kicker.
Kicker, Brian Monroe.
What does Brian Monroe do? I mean, you're going to call that? What is that? That's right, Brian. Shake your hand, man. I mean, you did a little chicken hit.
Man, these guys got to be shaking in their helmets. They're so fired up.
I mean, that was really unless he said something. I mean, I've spanked my 2-year-old harder than that.
8 players suspended for FIU, expelled from the game, 5 for the Hurricanes. Back to the action, and Josh Patrick again finds his tight end. Tackle is made, but not before another first down. Tackle made by the Hurricanes in the backfield by Randy Phillips. A first down pass, and again the tight end position featured, and Andy Anderson with a reception.
And you know what happened on that play? That time, the play fake got the linebacker to suck up, and they've been doing this all night. They've been able to catch Miami's defense. Here it is. You see the tail end of it, but the tight end was able to sneak across the field on the linebacker who read run first.
Anderson, a redshirt freshman out of Deerfield Beach, came into the game with only 2 catches on the season. One of them was last week in the 3rd quarter. A touchdown against North Texas. This one well underthrown by Josh Patrick. Pass intended for number 5, Jeremy Dickens, a wide receiver. And Patrick has struggled against this Hurricane defense throughout the night.
And you know, with Chandler Williams getting kicked out of the game, that's giving some play time to some other receivers out there that we haven't seen so far tonight. Like Jeremy Dickens and was Elliott Dix.
Starting tight end Samuel Smith also sent back to the locker room. Patrick feels the heat, steps up in the pocket, tries to make a move, but he's brought down at the 50. Tackle made for Miami, the linebacker Darryl Sharpton. Talk about the losses on the Hurricane side of the defense. Bruce Johnson, a nickel backup cornerback, and another one in the secondary, Carlos Armour, will not be seen from this point forward.
Derek Mose will be out, and Charlie Jones. Right. Charlie might be a little upset. He had to go take it out on somebody. He hadn't gotten the ball game tonight. He was just starting running back early.
I think we all need a little dose of Dr. Phil this evening.
Can we all just get along?
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 89 on the offense. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, remains 3rd down.
That's Moses Hinton, who will become a backup tight end now to Anderson. Anderson will take over the position of Smith after he was expelled.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, does this mean that this is the start of a rivalry?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a lot quicker than anybody anticipated, too.
Look for the 7-on-7 challenge at Tamiami Park.
Is there still a need, Lamar?
Oh, it's always going to be a need.
Check the videotape. Patrick hit hard in the backfield, brought down for a sack. Kareem Brown Also there for Miami in the backfield is Courtney Harris. What could something like this do to galvanize a team, bring these guys together for the Hurricanes at a point like this?
You know, I love to go back to the time when the program was so close, the kids were so close, but this type of experience can help a team become closer together, because now they know that, hey, we're in this as one. You're not going to pick on just one guy. We're going to take you down somehow, some way.
Chris Cook had one blocked earlier this evening. The true freshman gets it off and out of bounds. Players over there like Miami's Ryan Hill very careful with the hands up in front of the official. Punt goes for 32 yards. Hurricanes will come back on the offense, leading by 2 touchdowns. (14-0). Miami leading FIU in our third quarter. 6:15 remains in the period. Talking Football returns with new hosts and a new attitude. Don't miss all the engaging discussions, player interviews, and live viewer calls. If you want to stay on the pulse of college football this season, you got to tune in every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time only on CSS. Kyle Wright and the Canes on offense. Pass is complete to Leggett on the sidelines, out of bounds at the Hurricanes' 34-yard line.
You know, I would like to see Lance catch that football with his hands, but hey, a catch is a catch.
We'll take a look at it again against right now a depleted FIU secondary.
A catch is a catch.
Among those missing, Lamar, starters in the secondary: Chris Smith starting strong safety, Marshall McDuffie starting free safety, Lionel Singleton starting right cornerback, and on the line starting defensive tackle Jarvis Pennerton. They are among the 8 FIU players dismissed from this contest. We'll see if the Hurricanes can feast on this untested FIU secondary. And Wright is looking to pass again, has all day. Pass is caught. Lance Leggett comes back to meet his quarterback.
Well, it seems that Lance is becoming the featured guy. You know, last week it was the tight end Greg Olson. This week, Lance Leggett. And I like what Coach Rich Olson has done. He said, you know, Greg Olson had those drops the previous week, got him the football. Lance has had some drops. He's still throwing him the football. He's staying with his guys.
Ball was tipped and Leggett saw it into his chest for the completion. Hurricanes made a change along the offensive line. Derek Morse was sent back to the locker room. And so into the game for the Hurricanes along the offensive line is Chris Rutledge playing that right guard position.
Well, this play is, they've stopped this play all night long because they've crashed the ends down. What Miami should do is run some type of bootleg action off of that. Quarterback will be wide open. It's the same thing teams have done to Miami all year long.
Alexander Bostic, senior out of Norland High School. His quote will certainly echo as you listen and saw the scene here moments ago. I'm glad the week is here because ever since the beginning of the season, all anyone in the school has been worrying about is UM. That's what Alexander Bostic have to say. Look at this pass play to Sam Shields. Keeps it alive on the right sideline for a first down. But this is the game, as soon as the schedule was made, Lamar, that everybody on this FIU team was looking forward to. They play out of the Sun Belt Conference. FIU actually has had a very difficult schedule this year. They already took on Maryland, and they have a game coming up against Alabama. But the crosstown battle, a turf war, has developed, and a lot of these FIU players might have been a little bit upset, or a lot upset, wanting to have played for the University of Miami. We said earlier in the broadcast, scholarships never came, and you talk about a major grudge against the program. Kyle looking deep, left side, Leggett is there. He is open, but it's incomplete. Looked like he lost sight of the football. The quarterback, Robert Mitchell, was nowhere near the Hurricanes receiver, Lance Leggett.
Wow, that ball was up in the air for at least 3 minutes. Kyle does a good job of staying in the pocket. He gives his receiver an opportunity to catch the football here, and unfortunately for Lance, just went off the shoulder.
He's got to have a short memory right now and move on from that opportunity, but it's certainly nice to see the Hurricanes air it out. This has been lacking all season.
Why not? You're up 14-0. You're trying to put this team to bed. This is how you do it.
2nd and 10, a 2 tight end set with Zellner and Farr. They stack the left side, and Tyrone Moss in the game. Sprinting left, cuts it back. And a few defenders there to bring him down. Also into the game for the Hurricanes along the offensive line is Alex Poe. A lot of credit you got to give this FIU defensive line.
Oh, yeah, you give this whole defense of FIU a lot of credit. I mean, they played well. They're really a hard-hitting defense. They make you really think about catching the football across the middle, running the football against them. They're going to come up and pound you.
Antoine Barnes, the senior out of Norland High School, number 42, leads the FIU program in the Sun Belt Conference with 5 sacks heading into the game. So some gaudy numbers for Barnes. 3rd and 10. And Wright's in the shotgun. Tyrone Moss is with him. Poe missed his block at right tackle, and he sends Wright scrambling. And Kyle shows some speed, but not enough to pick up the first down. Alex Poe is in at right tackle for the Hurricanes, spelling Jason Fox.
Well, Kyle did a good job of stepping up in the pocket, getting as much as he can. And, you know, Kyle's come a long way. I tell you what, earlier in the year against Florida State, probably would have not been able to step up in the pocket, taking a sack. That time he tucks it and runs, picks up some positive yards.
Ryman wrote a punt. Back at his 45. It's a lot of air under it. Gives the Canes some time to catch up, but not enough as it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Chavez Grant, closest man to the football. 3:04 remains in our third quarter. The Hurricanes maintain a 14-point lead over the Golden Panthers. 3:04 remains in our third. FIU down 14. Patrick has a man over the middle. Hit hard by the Hurricanes' safety, Kenny Phillips. Whoa, what a hit.
You know, I talked about FIU's secondary coming up, putting some foundation on some receivers, but Kenny Phillips sees this play all the way, sees the wide receiver running full speed across the middle and just pounds him. You'll see it right here. Here it is. He read it all the way. Doing the old forearm shiver there.
Phillips already with an interception tonight. A gain of 3. And Patrick is hit from behind. Calais Campbell forces the fumble, and he recovers. A one-man band for the Hurricanes. Each week, Lamar, each week, he takes another step forward into potential superstardom.
Guys like Rusty Medeiros, Kevin Patrick, all these great defensive ends that have played here. This kid is basically staking his name into that.
Monster first step against the left tackle, Andy Levine, and Calais Campbell, who forced a fumble last week, does it again. Look at that, 6'8", 265 pounds, as big as those Colorado Rocky Mountains where he hails from. He was one of the most productive players in the spring, and he earned a starting job. No looking back now. Tyrone Moss not looking back towards the end zone, bulldozing his way inside the 5-yard line. I don't think his knee looks sore on that play.
13-yard gain there by Tyrone. The kid is back. You see the power. Look at the stiff arm there. You see the power of this kid.
And a great block opened up by the starting left guard, Andrew Bain. First and goal. Hurricanes have it at the Golden Panthers' 2-yard line.
I tell you what, the linebacker Bowie is going to remember that stiff arm. Moss put his handprint right in his chest plate.
Handoff again, Moss towards the goal line, reaching forward, but doesn't look like he broke the plane. Tyrone Moss last year as a junior led the Hurricanes on the ground with 701 yards and led the team in the entire ACC with 12 touchdowns scored as we approach a minute to play in our third quarter.
Well, you see right here. And watch what happens. He's going to have a speed to go to the outside. He's going to turn and try to run you over. He understands that he doesn't have that speed anymore. Kind of reminds me of a guy I played with, Stephen McGuire.
Yeah, it was a good one. Kyle rolling right into the end zone. Wide open. Touchdown for Chris Zellner.
He had two players, actually. James Bryant was standing there too. Either one of those guys could have caught that football. Now this is what Miami's supposed to do to a team like FIU. Pour points on.
Chris Zellner, like Tyrone Moss, making his way back onto the field after suffering an injury, sprained his ankle in the loss to Louisville. John Petty right through the uprights, and Miami has opened up a 21-0 lead. Chris Zellner with his first touchdown of the season. Miami Hurricanes taking advantage. Calais Campbell forced the fumble and recovered it, and the Hurricanes took it in the 15 yards. Tyrone Moss set up Chris Zellner with a 1-yard touchdown reception. Lasted only 28 seconds in the first half. Neither team able to take much advantage of turnovers, but the Hurricanes have with a punt blocked and a big play by the defensive end Calais Campbell. And it's nice to see Zellner and Moss both contributing after being on the shelf, missing the last 2 weeks of action. Once again, a very busy Brian Monroe. Puts his left foot into it. Back in the end zone. Monroe has been solid tonight. Another touchback for FIU. Earlier we asked who was the last Canes freshman to run for back-to-back 100-yard games prior to Javaris James accomplishing the feat last week. Get plenty of time to digest the question. Lamar has scribbled a bunch of names on a piece of paper, and Clinton Portis, well, he did it in 4 straight as a true freshman back in 1999. That pipeline of outstanding running backs through this University of Miami. Did you have Clinton Portis, Lamar?
I had Clinton Portis.
Inside 20 seconds and a delayed handoff to Reams up the middle across the 25-yard line. Vaughn Ponders there. And that'll bring our clock to triple zeros. And would you say that was an eventful third quarter, Lamar?
Oh, I love watching football like that.
The number 4 in the air being held high by Hurricane players, coaches, and fans alike. Action-packed night of football and beyond in the Orange Bowl. The Hurricanes 21 and FIU nothing. The U leading FIU 21-0 as we get ready for our 4th quarter in the Orange Bowl. And the Golden Panthers have the football. It's Reams on a 2nd and 3. Tackle made by John Beeson at the 25 for a loss of 1.
You know what we haven't talked about all night? The fact that Randy Shannon's son is the starting center.
That's right. The center Xavier Shannon has been trying to open up some holes for Reams. There he is, 55, a 20-year-old sophomore out of Coral Gables High School. Family members are supporting Xavier, in case you were wondering tonight.
You think he knows some of the calls?
He was actually watching game film with his father, the Hurricanes defensive coordinator Randy Shannon, last week. There's a nice-looking pass by Josh Patrick to the tight end Andy Anderson. Randy Shannon before the game on the left, and it's got to be tough for this guy, drawing up schemes to counter his son.
I mean, if you know your son, you know any weaknesses of your son, you send all kind of blitzes right up the A-gap.
Xavier has stood up pretty strong. Randy said, I'm proud of my son. He walked on at FIU, earned a scholarship, and now he's a starter. He'll play hard and do what he has to do, and on defense, we'll play hard and do what we have to do. Xavier said he had more interview requests this week than he ever imagined in a lifetime.
And you know what? Who knows? With Pete Garcia being over there at FIU, who knows? Randy Shannon could be the next head coach over there.
Full a world of possibilities for FIU.
Oh, of course.
No shortage of rumors. A great opportunity extended to Pete Garcia, who leaves the University of Miami as Senior Associate Athletic Director, and will now join forces with that guy on the sidelines, Don Strock. Well, Strock built this program up, but an 0-6 record, and likely to fall to 0-7 tonight.
And that program is on the uprise. I mean, they're building a new stadium, which they'll be playing in 2008. Next year, they'll be playing here in the Orange Bowl. But they're looking to do some big things, building luxury boxes, making this program one of the top programs, and trying to make it one of the top programs in South Florida.
Patrick again looking for his tight end, Moses Hinton. It falls incomplete. Yeah, $50 million football stadium. Boy, the benefits of
being a state school,
public money.
You know, as they only have to come up with $25 million, and the state comes up with the other to pay for it.
There you see, he doesn't have to look far, Don Strock or Pete Garcia, himself a recruiting expert. Lamar, I'm sure you know, worked many years in this University of Miami program, followed Butch Davis to Cleveland when Butch became head coach of the Browns and made his way back to Coral Gables. It'll be a big loss for this program. Patrick out of the backfield to Reams at the 25, makes some moves and gets to the 30-yard line before he's brought down. That was 3rd down, and FIU will be forced to punt.
Well, FIU tried a screen out there, and Miami's defense is just too fast. In the beginning of the game, I'm sure FIU pulled out all their bags of tricks. They tried all different types of plays. Now Miami's defense has settled down, and I tell you, the James Bryant play really sparked this team. It's been a whole different ball team since that play.
Quite a few plays that might have fired up his teammates in the 2nd quarter and in the 3rd. His touchdown came in that 3rd quarter. Cook to punt. It's really a minor accomplishment tonight when he just gets it off. And there's a fine punt. And Miami back at its 30-yard line. Some moves on the right sideline. Keeping it alive for the Canes is Rashawn Jones with the punt return. 12:16 to play in our 4th quarter. Miami will take over on the offense. 21-0 our score. (21-0) Miami's lead. Canes taking over on the offense as well. If you love the game, you can catch it again, fans, on CSS with our college football encore presentations every Wednesday at noon and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can relive all the moments of glory, victory, and defeat of your Hurricanes only on CSS, your source for Southeast sports. That's the bedtime of a few Hurricane fans, perhaps. Miami has a new quarterback in the game, Kirby Freeman. The handoff goes for a loss of 1 on 1st down. The Hurricanes have a new quarterback. It is Kirby Freeman in control of the offense. We saw Kirby last week in the 1st and 4th quarters of the victory against North Carolina. His first play was a running play and then an incompletion through the hands of Ryan Hill. So we've got a 3rd and 10 here. And Freeman from the shotgun. He's going to try to take off. Gets past one man. He's dragged down, though, after a gain of 2. Looked like a potential design running play with a very athletic Kirby Freeman.
I don't know if that was designed. I think that by watching wide receivers run their routes, I think Kirby, they give him the green light to tuck it and run because he's such a good athlete.
Beyond this buoy with the tackles, Freeman makes his way back to the Hurricanes sideline, spelling Kyle Wright, who threw for 3 touchdown passes today. He came into the game with 2 touchdowns on the entire season, none last week against the Tar Heels. Lance Leggett, James Bryant, and Chris Zellner, the recipients of Wright touchdown passes. Monroe's punt A fair catch is called by FIU, and a hit is made, and an obvious penalty against number 26, Anthony Reddick, who either did not see or ignored the fair catch sign by John Houston Whidden.
Well, Anthony got away with something earlier in the ball game, so hey, might as well get one.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 26 of the kicking team, 15 yards, first down.
15 yards added to FIU. They march upfield, trailing by 3 touchdowns in our 4th quarter in the Orange Bowl. Well, back in the 3rd quarter, after Hurricanes' point after, there was a melee on the field, and these were the ejections. 8 players thrown out of the game on the FIU side and 5 for Miami. The starting offensive lineman, Derek Morse, and a depleted Hurricane secondary after the losses of Johnson and Carlos Armour, and it took quite a while to restore order here, both on the field and in the stands. It was ugly. And a near interception. Could he hold on? For the Hurricanes over there is the linebacker. Tavares Gooden bobbled it and could not hold on. The Hurricanes already with 2 picks of Patrick tonight and very nearly a 3rd.
Well, hit him in the wrong spot, right between the hands. The chest of 5'2".
What an easy target.
I mean, Ray Lewis would have had that. You got to wear that 52. You got to represent.
Is that why he's on defense? The Hurricanes had 1 interception heading into the Carolina game last week, 2 against the Tar Heels and 2 tonight. Patrick hands off to Reams, speed across the 30 to the 37-yard line on the ground. Well, Miami will try to preserve the shutout here as we approach 10 minutes to play in our 4th quarter. The last time the Canes put a goose egg on the opposite side of the board was September the 18th, 2004, in a 48-0 shutout of Louisiana Tech. And again, you talk so much about pride tonight. That would be a little bit more icing to the cake for the Hurricanes. It was a 7-0 game at the half. And the Hurricanes have fought for everything they've earned tonight.
Well, FIU has made them literally fight for everything they've earned.
Yeah, literally. This Hurricane defense is picking up momentum, and they'll have another opportunity to gain some steam next week on the road against Duke before some crucial contests coming up in the ACC. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, they await the University of Miami. Reams back to the sideline. Back onto the field is Cook to punt for the Golden Panthers. Rashawn Jones takes over after the ejection of Bruce Johnson. And flags on the field prior to the punt.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 46 of the offense. 5 yards, remains 4th down.
Now that's the one thing Don Strzok wanted to avoid tonight. Well, the Hurricanes in line for their third straight victory, heading into Durham, as we mentioned, against Duke. Back to ACC play next week. And then some monsters, the big one, Georgia Tech. Tough one coming up in Atlanta. The lefty Cook punch towards Jones. Jones lets it bounce, and it'll find its resting place inside the Hurricanes' 30-yard line. Second set of downs for quarterback Kirby Freeman. Took over for Kyle Wright earlier in this fourth quarter. And Freeman finds the freshman receiver Shields on the right sideline. They'll be close to the first down marker. They'll rule a gain of 11 to move the chains.
Well, right now, these young guys are getting that play time, that experience that they need. You know, they're freshmen, they're true freshmen like Sam Shields. Every moment that he can play in the ball game, whether it's against first-team competitors or third-team competitors, he's getting experience. You see guys like Lance Leggett are out now on the sideline. Those guys don't need to be in there right now.
Well, the Hurricane coaching staff has had to adjust offensively to allow for some freshman mistakes. And Shields again involved in the offense, and he breaks free on the left side. One man to beat at the 20. 15-10, and brought down at the 8-yard line is Sam Shields.
What a nice move. Caught the football, had him off balance.
54 yards, Freeman to Shields, and Sam makes his way back to the sidelines. And Larry Coker said during the week there have been a lack of big plays at that receiver position. They're going to come. We're going to stay with it. And nice to see Sam Shields break free. Shields, who was so impressive in the practices leading up to the regular season, sets up a 1st and goal from the 7. Canes spread it out on offense. Freeman looking end zone. Leggett is there, and he sees it in. The call is a touchdown.
Well, give Lance two catches on that play. Catches it one time, then drops it, and catches it again. He should get 2 touchdowns. He should have 3 touchdowns tonight. Here's the fade pattern. Actually, it's a fade stop. The defensive back was playing deep off him. He throws it up. Let the kid go up and get it. You got to take advantage of that. That's what every other team in the ACC is doing now with the big, taller receivers. You'll see it a lot of Georgia Tech. That's what they do with their big receiver.
Eddie's point after. The Canes now lead 28-0 as Lance Leggett went up and above the quarterback Malik Jones, his 2nd touchdown of the night for the Hurricanes junior receiver Lance Leggett.
Scoring drive is brought to you by the following play. Hurricane fans, soon to join us after the game with the performance of the alma mater of the University of Pennsylvania.
Well, Lance Leggett, Lamar, is a guy you've taken under your wings. He brings great athleticism to that receiver position and went up high to bring it in.
Still has to work on his consistency. He's gotten a lot better this year, but that's a play that you need to do I mean, you got to run that play. When you got guys that tall that can run that fast, give them an opportunity to make a play. And you saw what they did with Sam Shields, got him out in the space. He's not the guy that's going to go up and get the football, but he can throw a couple jukes and make a big play. Lance is the type of guy, throw it up to him, let him go up and get it.
Lance 7 catches tonight, 77 yards and the 2 scores. Kickoff return for FIU, and it's brought back by number 83, John Houston Whidden. Spins and makes some moves, but only gets to the 15-yard line. So FIU will try to put a drive together here in the 4th quarter. And again, 8 players suspended or kicked out of this game on this FIU squad from that 3rd quarter altercation. Many of the fans have emptied the Orange Bowl here with 7 minutes to play in our 4th quarter, just about.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that if you get kicked out of a ball game in college football, you're suspended for the next game.
Adric, a quick drop and pass is complete to his receiver, Jeremy Dickens. This is a rare sighting for FIU. Despite their 0-6 record, only once did they fail to compete throughout a ball game, and that was 2 weeks back against Arkansas State, losing 31-6. Their other 5 losses by a total of 14 points, including last week, 25-22 on the road at North Texas, a game that went into 7 overtimes and included 4 missed field goal opportunities in overtime for FIU.
That's a long ball game.
Reams pitch out to the right side. A funny comment by the North Texas coach Daryl Dickey. He said, I was 46 when the game started. I'm about 58 years old now. Delta is the official airline of the University of Miami Hurricanes. Proud to be so. These Hurricanes leading 28-0. Miami about to run its record to 4-2. Heading on the road next week, Durham, North Carolina against the Duke Blue Devils, who were
holding
greeted roughly.
Number 88 of the offense. 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. Replay, first down.
Penalty called on FIU's tight end, Andy Anderson, Florida State. They're taking some of its frustrations out on Duke up in Durham earlier today. The ACC, you never know what to expect week in and week out. Hurricanes in the conference, a record of 1-1. That victory against North Carolina. Patrick under heavy pressure and brought down. Another sack for the Canes defensively, and more frustrations up front for FIU. Make it number 3 in the sack category for the Hurricanes defense, and that one along the defensive line made by Dwayne Hendricks. Love the game? Catch it again on CSS with our college football encore presentations every Wednesday, both noon and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can relive every moment of glory, victory, and defeat of your Miami Hurricanes only on CSS, your source for Southeast sports. A big loss, a penalty, and then the sack makes it 2nd and 27. A running play, and Reams is tripped up in the backfield. Sharpton is there, and once again it's Dwayne Hendricks. And Hendricks has made a name for himself this season for the Hurricanes. He had the safety earlier in the season against Florida A&M. He's a sophomore. Courtney Harris also playing well tonight, a redshirt freshman. So some backup defensive players in the game for the Hurricanes.
Getting an opportunity.
2 receivers split wide to the left. 1 man in the backfield, and it's Reams again. And you got to feel some compassion for Julian Reams, a sophomore out of Coral Reef High School here in Miami.
He's taking some pounding.
Imagine what he's going to feel like in the morning.
He's going to be about as blue as his uniform.
Here you see the run defense for the Hurricanes continuing its strong play. Back in his end zone is Cook to punt for the Golden Panthers. Standing at the 50, Rashawn Jones. Jones angles left, Catches it in the air, across the 40, towards the middle of the field, cut back left side, 35, 30, has some blockers, and out of bounds. And Rashawn Jones getting his first opportunity to bring back some punts in the absence of Bruce Johnson. Well, Darnell Jenkins is out. Johnson is out tonight. So Jones gets an opportunity as he makes his way to the sideline. 4:08 to play in our fourth quarter. The Hurricanes 28 and the Golden Panthers nothing. www.hurricanesonlinescore.com. 28-0 Canes on top, 4:08 to play. Credit the Hurricane coaches making the halftime adjustments. At the intermission, Miami only 66 passing yards, leading 7-0, but Kyle Wright and the offense began to open it up. And in the second half, to this point, 124 passing yards. Deron Thomas on the ground, showing speed along the left side and barrels forward towards the 10-yard line. So Javaris James, Tyrone Moss without much success running the football in the first half. As you see, Deron Thomas for 14 yards. And obviously going to the air and mixing it up with the likes of Zellner and Bryant and the traditional receivers like Lance Leggett.
Well, I tell you, the second half has been the difference for the University of Miami, primarily after James Bryant did his thing. And, of course, the fight, I think, got him pumped up.
Kirby Freeman's numbers spelling right here in the fourth quarter. An injured player for FIU is their weak side linebacker. Alexander Bostic had his knee looked at. Handoff to Deron Thomas. What a burst of speed. And another Hurricanes touchdown for Deron Thomas, who has taken advantage of every opportunity he's had this year. And he's just inflating some already impressive statistics as Thomas came into the game averaging 7.6 yards per carry. And that was his first touchdown.
Well, a couple moves here. Nice cut there off the beginning. Then he's going to cut back to the right and rub off the little referee there and score a touchdown.
They snapped the hold, and again the kick by John Petty, punctuating the scoring for Miami. The Hurricanes, who led 7-0 at the half, have all of a sudden separated themselves to lead 35 points.
Well, like I said before, this is a nice move here. Watch the cut. Now he's going to cut one more time, and he has so much speed that, I mean, if that play would have been from their own 10-yard line, he would have had a 90-yard touchdown.
Plenty to celebrate here in the second half, including Deron Thomas's first career touchdown for Miami, the sophomore. And for the Hurricanes, a touchdown has been scored in 5 of the last 7 possessions. Deron Thomas runs it in from 11 yards out. Again, padding his stats. Coach Coker saying Deron bringing an added dimension to the table with his speed and quickness. Brian Monroe's been strong with his kickoffs. Another touchback. This FIU offense stymied all night. The defense has been the strength of the team, and kind of ran out of gas in that third quarter. Obviously, this 35-0 score not indicative of how tight this game was played through 2.5 quarters.
Well, you knew it was going to happen, and for Miami, you know, it's amazing that it really shows how if you can just catch a team and play your best in the first half, the other team will lay down. They didn't play their best. FIU came out and played them strong. Then Miami jumped on here after a big play by James Bryant and also the big fight that just made the Miami guys a little upset about what was going on out there.
Bryant got his troops rallied.
Imagine the bragging rights. Before that fight, this game ends up being a 7-0 win for Miami. FIU looks at this as a win.
It all changed in that third quarter. And the players ejected for FIU. That didn't help. And it just added more fire to the attack for the Hurricanes. Their fans got into it as well. New quarterback in the game for FIU. It's Paul McCall, a redshirt freshman out of Hollywood and Hollywood Hills High School. FIU gets a week off as you take a look at Paul McCall. And then it's a trip to Alabama. Should mention FIU does earn some money from this game, $150,000, so that helps.
Oh yeah. You know, the question is, who was Pete Garcia pulling for in the fight?
I don't think we'll ever know, Lamar. McCall to pass. If he can, he cannot. He is saddled and thrown to the turf by Courtney Harris. The 4th sack of the night for the Canes. And another punt coming up with less than a minute and a half to play.
This is what you call really thrown to the turf here.
Elias Campbell knows a thing or two about bringing a quarterback down. And deja vu all over again for Cook to punt for the Panthers, and Jones once again right at his 50. The last possession for Miami started in Golden Panther territory, and Deron Thomas quickly ran it into the end zone. Another short punt. Jones is going to watch it sail out of bounds right into the FIU bench. Special teams have been everything but for FIU this year. 23 yards, the punt from the true freshman Chris Cook.
You know, if I was head coach, you know, I got to say, if you're going to come in my house and try to fight me, I'm going to kick a field goal right now. I'm going to try to put up 3 or 7 more points just to let you know that that wasn't nice.
Lamar Thomas, as a head coach, one can only imagine. Not making many friends.
Did you just see Pete Garcia go up to Strock over there on the sideline?
The Hurricanes' Matt Pirelli will be given the honor of taking the snap and putting his knee to the turf as the 3rd-string quarterback. And that should do it. And right now the players are being instructed to go back to the locker room. This is not the time to go face-to-face with the opposition. Maybe it was a premonition before the game when Larry Coker said that he hopes that it's just a positive atmosphere out on the field. He hopes it's not an ugly game. Both teams play hard and well. He said he wanted the teams to shake hands after the game, but not as fortunate. It was a very ugly scene as Larry Coker has some words with Tom Strock.
And it was not going to happen. Not the handshaking. You see Pete Garcia down in the melee hugging Coach Coker and saying, congratulations. We'll see you next year. This rivalry is on, Coach.
Teams will meet again next year, but everybody will remember the first time Miami and Florida International crossed paths on the gridiron. Final score, the Hurricanes 35, the Golden Panthers nothing.